啊，都跳啊下掉。
我哋話落佢中，整死。
On the afternoon of April 7th, 2026, severe flooding occurred in Chaozhou, in Guangdong Province, China. After an intense period of heavy rainfall, the volume and concentration of rain overwhelmed sections of the city's drainage infrastructure, leading to standing water on major roads, flooded intersections, and impacts to commercial properties and neighborhoods. City authorities issued warnings, directed traffic, and mobilized crews to address conditions as they developed. Rainfall totals reported by regional monitoring stations showed amounts that significantly exceeded what is typical for this time of year. In several districts of Chaozhou, precipitation measured over 100 millimeters within a compressed span of hours. This rate of rainfall produced surface water accumulation faster than storm drains could move it out of urban areas, resulting in water depths that in some places reached knee-to-waist height. Vehicles attempting to traverse submerged streets stalled, and pedestrians were forced to navigate through water that covered road surfaces. Municipal emergency services responded throughout the afternoon. Traffic management teams rerouted vehicles from the most severely flooded blocks and posted advisories for residents to avoid travel where water was deepest.
草原故乡，海在城中央。是啊。
Public service announcements encourage people to remain indoors and to exercise caution in affected areas. In zones where water had entered ground-level shops, business owners and staff worked to erect temporary barriers to reduce further intrusion and began cleanup efforts as water levels declined. Chaozhou's climate context helps explain the impacts observed on April 7th. April rainfall in the region typically ranges between approximately 120 and 145 millimeters for an entire month. On that day, however, concentrated bursts of rain delivered totals exceeding typical daily averages in a much shorter time frame. While the city's drainage system is designed to handle routine rainfall, the intensity of precipitation that occurred within hours surpassed the system's capacity, leading to the surface flooding that residents and officials documented. Flooding was most pronounced in low-lying areas and districts with older stormwater infrastructure. In these locations, standing water remained for a longer duration, and cleanup crews faced the added challenge of removing debris and sediment carried by runoff. In newer or recently upgraded areas with larger conduits and improved drainage channels, water receded more rapidly once the rain diminished. Wind conditions during the rainfall event were moderate, with recorded speeds around 22 kilometers per hour and occasional higher gusts. Although wind did not directly contribute to flooding, these conditions were consistent with localized heavy rain cells that produced intense precipitation over short periods. Importantly, there was no significant overflow from upstream rivers or tributaries during the event, confirming that the flooding was driven by the heavy rainfall itself, rather than broader watershed or riverine flood conditions. As the rain eased late in the afternoon, water levels began to decline across the city. By early evening, most main roads were passable again, and traffic advisories were lifted in areas where standing water had receded. Cleanup operations continued into the evening and following morning, with municipal crews focusing on clearing storm drains, removing debris, and restoring normal conditions in residential and commercial zones that had been affected. No casualties were reported in connection with the flooding, and injuries were limited.
小美说喜欢看海，于是我带她来潮州。
这就是我们著名的潮人故乡潮州的海，波涛汹涌，浪起一片桃花。
Municipal emergency management communications confirmed that while the flooding disrupted daily activity and caused localized property intrusion, it did not escalate into a large-scale infrastructure failure or widespread emergency requiring evacuation orders. The impacts, while visible and disruptive, remained confined to surface flooding rather than evolving into more extensive damage or prolonged disruption. Reports from residents and business owners documented specific intersections and streets where water levels were highest, and these measurements were verified by municipal teams as part of post-event assessment efforts. These data points are now part of ongoing reviews of the city's drainage capacity and planning for future improvements to stormwater management systems. In several high-risk zones, officials have already initiated plans to enhance conveyance capacity and reduce vulnerability to similar rainfall patterns in the future. The flooding in Chaozhou on April 7, 2026, serves as an example of how heavy concentrated rainfall can impact urban environments when precipitation intensity outpaces existing stormwater infrastructure capacity. Despite the pressure placed on drainage systems, coordinated response efforts by city authorities, emergency services, and municipal crews ensured that the situation was contained and normal activity resumed once conditions stabilized. In summary, flooding occurred in Chaozhou due to heavy rainfall that exceeded routine drainage capacity. Surface water covered roads, impeded travel, and affected properties, particularly in low-lying and older infrastructure zones. City officials responded with traffic direction, public advisories, and cleanup operations. Water levels receded as the rain diminished. The event highlighted challenges associated with intense rainfall and emphasized the importance of ongoing investment in infrastructure to manage similar weather events in the future. Thanks for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. See you in the next one. Stay informed, stay safe.